usually when we're talking about quarterbacks, we're asking you about their improvements, but this is your first time in this role. So where have you maybe seen yourself kind of improve throughout the last few months?
No doubt.
What have you seen for yourself?
The things I've seen for myself, honestly, is just the comfortability, man. Getting back in there, not being in there for a while. Obviously, the last time I was in there, I was playing. And so getting back in there, getting the feel for the difference in, attitudes, and which is a great thing, and the morale of a room, and being from 16 guys down to 4, just the comfortability phase of walking in there every day with that confidence, which you're going to do anyways as a coach, but actually feeling it and knowing it, and I think it exudes off the players once it starts to show. So I would say I started to feel that definitely pop when spring ball started about that time. But the first bit of sitting in the room, it was definitely a curve of, man, I got to get back into this and really know it, and had a confidence to where it shows to the guys.
Coach, throughout really his time here so far in spring, where have you seen some growth from Danny? It seems like especially mobility-wise, he's been able to make an impact.
No doubt, Danny has been just consistent, man, very consistent. The guy that comes in every day with the right mindset, goes to lead his group, and no matter which group he's in there with, not scared to speak up. And I think that's where he's really took a big step, where he speaks up, and maybe things aren't getting to him as mentally as it did in the past. You can see it written all over his face at times, and now he knows how to respond and actually bring other young guys along with him. Look, it's obvious that Danny has played some college football. You can see that. He has that calmness about him, and so when things aren't going maybe exactly the way that we want it to go, he's the guy that the offense can look at and have a calming factor of.
Sticking with Danny for a second, did you see that kind of transition to quicker decisions on the field, getting them more confidence?
Oh, definitely, for sure. I mean, as you know, he came in with a shoulder deal, and so it was a piece of him having to get out there and get around the guys, and just get a feel for, what quarterbacks always talk about in KYP, knowing your personnel, right? Knowing your linemen, knowing your receivers, your tight ends, backs, and the different ways in which they like to get the ball and be successful, or be in position for a block to be successful, and things of that nature. So you felt that when he first started, right? We've talked a lot about his mental clock. At the start, you could tell he thought he had all day, and it's like, hey, man, we got to speed this up and go to work, and he's improved drastically with that, but we still got a ways to go.
What about with Billy? Where's the growth you've seen from him, and where do you think he needs to take some steps forward?
Yeah.
Going to be the guy now?
Man, that's a great question, because Billy is one of those guys, man, you tell him one thing, and you better be right with how you're saying it, because he's going to try to do exactly what you say. He works his butt off. I mean, he's in the building just as much as us as coaches, and so seeing his progression, honestly, was with kind of the same as me, like the comfortability in being in the QB room, his comfortability in being around everyone and being around his team, being confident in his abilities, which he's always had, but honestly knowing what he has around him in order to put those guys in the right position. And so I think he's done a great job of that. Now it's the time to go from good to great. That's the next part. That's the next step. And he knows what it takes to get that done, because he is such a great guy, and he's going to work at everything that we want to do. But it's those game-like situations, taking everything that he's done in practice and bringing it to the game-like situations, because he has it. He has that it. And everybody needs to see it every snap, every practice, every game.
Coach, we've seen the defense come up with a good amount of turnovers kind of in the spring. As a quarterback's coach, when you see interceptions kind of come up, what is your mindset in spring?
Man, it's a double-edged sword, really, man, because you want the guys to be aggressive. You don't want to take aggressiveness away from them. But it's those interceptions that, hey, if things happen to where they make a play, okay, good. They made a play, and that their guy was better than ours in that moment. But it's the ones that are disaster decisions that we don't put up with, and they know it. We keep up with it. We know exactly our decision-making on the day, how many chances we had to make a decision, and how many times we made a good one or a bad one. And there's always a chance to have a great decision, no matter the play call, no matter what's happened within that play. And so the guys understand that, and defense has done a great job sharpening us. Right, iron sharpens iron, and we're learning a new offense, new players, things of that nature. You can make all the excuses in the world. At the end of the day, excuse doesn't matter for a disaster decision. And so we had a few of those throughout spring, and I feel like we got those out of our system. Hopefully we do, because it's good to see defense get turnovers, but we got to take care of the ball. And I do think we got the right guys in the room that are willing to get rid of the disaster decisions and make the ones that are going to put us in the right position to go win.
What's kind of been key as far as Carter's development and what, how do you get your strategy to bring a young guy along?
Man, great question, man. Honestly, it's that maturity factor for any young freshman. He's a high school senior right now, and it's him understanding the urgency and going to be great. I thought as if when we first got in the room, he thought he had time to go be great, or even to go be good. Like, oh, man, I got time. I see a fifth-year guy come in. I see Danny O'Neal and things of that nature. But it's not about that. It's about your progression and your steps to being the next the next Carter Smith in line. And so I think he kind of got that within the first week or so of being in the room and understanding this isn't high school anymore, that you're going to have to push yourself every day. And I want you to be pushing these guys right now that may be ahead of you. But at the end of the day, you got to really come in with the urgency to be great. And I think that's where he's gotten a lot better. And I will say I saw a lot of different things from him once the kind of the game atmosphere came out. You know, it was good to see him kind of have that competitor mentality and see his competitive spirit just come out into another factor. So I think he's heading in the right direction. We got to keep pushing him, man. Got to keep pushing him, and that's everybody in the room. But he's headed in the right direction.
Are there particular adjustments, like you talked about going from a bigger room down to a smaller room? Is there any particular examples of how you've had to adjust that, you know, your teaching and your coaching?
Honestly, I'm probably not as loud anymore. You know, I used to sit in the back of the room or the front of the room with the wideouts, and you're kind of barking at the guys, you know, making sure they know their jobs, and sometimes you wonder why, man, this job is so easy, why aren't we getting it done? Things of that nature. So you get a little louder at times, you know, but in the QB room, it's more intimate, basically, and you know, it's a lot of, you know, you tell every player to learn from each other's mistakes, but it's really evident in the quarterback room, you know, because there is only one plan. And so when you get a chance for another guy to step in, you see if they've learned from that next man's, that other man that was in the game, you know. And so, honestly, the biggest thing is probably the tone and the voice in the room, you know. And it's just so much more of an intimate room setting to where you're able to just really relate to each guy, you know.
Coach, last year, at the end of last year, you guys kind of meshed the quarterback room and the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Have you guys done any of that this spring, or have you found any benefit to doing that?
Yeah. It was definitely some benefit to it last year, definitely for those skill guys to hear what the quarterbacks are being taught, you know. I thought that went a long ways. We have not had a chance to do it yet. It's definitely something we're going to look forward to in the future because of me and Coach Reed's relationship. And not just that, it's just the right thing to do, you know. And so we will definitely get to some of that. Just hadn't had a chance yet with the new offense and everybody kind of having their own square to have to take care of in the moment. But it'll happen.
We were talking with Coach Blasek about that challenge of kind of teaching guys under center snapping at the college level now. Like, just what is that like from a quarterback coach perspective? 'Cause a lot of the guys come in here and they maybe have never taken a snap.
Which is funny to me, you know. To me, that's the essence of football. Like, the first thing you learn if you want to play quarterback is under the center. But I understand, you know, in today's new world, it's a spread world, you know. And even my guy Carter, you know, my first time under the center, I mean, he is crouching down, butt almost touching the ground, and I'm like, dude, we have to fix this, all right? And so, and he's such an honest guy, man, and I love him to death because first thing he says, I've never done this before, and so it's like, all right, then. So, you know, it's a learning curve there. Just like anything else, you put them through it, and you make them have to do it a few times over and over and over again, and after a while, it becomes second nature to them. So it's just like anything else you got to teach a young guy or a young person that walks into the program.
We've heard a lot about both Billy and Danny kind of having their voices.
Yeah.
Is it unique to have two quarterbacks in the same room that kind of have that voice like that?
Yeah, man, I think it's a big time plus, man. Just in, you know, my story alone, you know, that was my way of trying to get my, you know, everything that I wanted in the sport. You know what I mean? And if I didn't have the leadership and chance and the chances to be a captain, then I would have never had a chance to touch that field. And so I carry that a lot throughout the QB room. And those are two guys that are just, one's older, one may be younger, but he's played a lot of ball, and so he understands it when I bring up certain things about leadership, you know. And I mean, it's just easy to tell the guy was raised the right way, man, and he's got the right support system around him to where he understands, like, not everything's going to be perfect, so I better have the right mindset to give the confidence in everyone else to believe in me. And so that second voice is only going to be a plus for us, man, and I think that even the guys in that one huddle understand that. You know, he steps in and there's that same voice. Here we go. Let's go.